Amendment by Bucy.
The chair recognizes Mr. Bucy to explain the amendment.
Mr. Speaker, members, just want a few minutes of time. I want to tell you about someone I've gotten to know. Is Chair Collier here? Members, someone I've gotten to know over the last year. Her name is Crystal Mason. She is a black woman from Tarrant County. She is a mother, a grandmother, and an active member of her church community and the community at large. During the winter storm, she used her event center to help house and feed displaced members of the community. In 2018, Ms. Mason was sentenced to 5 years in prison for submitting a provisional ballot in the 2016 presidential election that was never counted. At the time she cast her provisional ballot, Ms. Mason had no idea the state considered her ineligible to vote because she was on federal supervised release for a tax offense. No one told her that being on federal supervised release might have consequences for her ability to vote. Ms. Mason's provisional ballot was not counted. No election was changed. That process worked exactly as it was supposed to. Members, this amendment clarifies the law to make the legislature's intent explicitly clear. Before and after passage, it will make sure that only people who know they are ineligible to vote can be prosecuted for illegal voting, and that people who make innocent mistakes in the voting process cannot be thrown in jail for mere confusion or a slip-up.
Mr. Speaker,
Turner, for what purpose?
will the gentleman yield?
Will the gentleman yield for questions?
I yield.
The gentleman yields.
Thank you, Representative Bucy, for bringing this amendment. I just want to ask you a few questions for purposes of intent regarding the amendment. By amending our election code to clarify the knowledge requirement, do you mean in any way to imply that actual knowledge by a person of the person's ineligibility to vote was not already a requirement for conviction of this offense under section 64.012A1 of the election code?
No, Representative, that is not my intention here.
The existing statute already requires that to commit an offense under that provision, a person must, quote, vote or attempt to vote in an election in which the person knows the person is not eligible to, quote, eligible to vote, end quote, correct?
That is correct.
And as the amendment author, would you agree that no one should read this clarification of your amendment to suggest that the knowledge identified in your amendment was not previously required under a proper interpretation of section 64.012A1?
That is correct.
Thank you for answering my questions.
I would agree. Thanks, sir. Mr. Speaker, I believe this amendment is acceptable to the author. I move adoption.
Mr. Bucy's amendment. The amendment is acceptable to the author. Objection to the adoption. Amendment. Chair hears none. The amendment is adopted.